I'm going to do it. It's about consistency. Just the creation of daily routines and activities and events throughout the month of October. It's Vlogtober. Tonight is my first night back. And I am not ready to be back. I am tired. And I just want my bees. Tonight, night 2 of 7. She's not as tired as she was last night because she was very, very and there was lights. Misty Boo made me an egg roll bowl. So it's basically egg roll filling without the phyllo dough. 10 out of 10. Highly recommend. And then my husband made some orange chicken, and so I have some of that. Also, 10 out of 10, highly recommend. Hot. Y'all know I love a cold soda down. So my bestie boo also brings me these tropical Sprite. Sprite is my favorite soda. Can't have movie theater fountain Sprite. A can of Sprite will do. I love the tropical Sprite, so she brings me those and they make me happy. But today was rough. If your job is to basically be of service to someone, maybe it's all job. I feel like pharmacists get positioned in a really sticky spot. So I think patients think that you don't want to do things for them. Doctors think that you don't want to do things like, and I can't speak for all pharmacists because I have worked with some pharmacists who fit into certain categories. But what I would say is, I want to sell you your drugs, okay? I want you to have them. I'm not trying to withhold them from you. I want to, that's not me. And I called a doctor today because the PA had written a prescription for some controlled drugs, and the supervising physician's name and DEA number was not on the prescription. And this doctor was so completely rude. Like, so rude. I was upset literally for like hours after this happened. And I went home and I laid down, and when I woke up I felt so much better, and I told myself, like, I can't get that upset and let it, let it bother me like that. But I called the doctor and I just was like, hey, I'm calling to get, your information. And he's like, the PA has their own DEA number and I'm not giving you my information. And I'm just like, I'm not a confrontational person. Let's not mistake that I don't confrontate. I just don't like it. I can, but I don't like it. It is not my first choice. And so I'm just like, okay, because I've explained to you why I'm calling. I've explained to you what I need and why I need it. And then you tell me you've been a doctor for 30 years and you've never heard of that before. You've never had this call. Which, caveat, I was also upset with my team because I tell them when we get prescriptions from PAs, they need to go right back. We need to send them back for script clarifications, because if you are writing a prescription, you have to write it correctly. I can't dispense a prescription incorrectly. So then we need to, hold the providers to the same standard. So the doctor just basically is like, I'm not giving you the DA number. Okay, fine. And so we hang up. He's like, I have to investigate. And he calls back literally like 5 minutes later. And he's talking to like my colleague, the other pharmacist. And he's like, well, I just spoke with someone and I was on the phone with another person, so I couldn't really hear, and all of these things. And it's just like, just say I'm sorry, I was rude, I'll give you the information and I'll look more into it, and if I find anything different than what you're saying, I will follow back up with you. We are on night 3 of 7. It is 1:41 a.m. The pharmacist that was here before me had put in like a hold on the order, which basically means the nurse can't give the order. It's like, hey, call the pharmacy, something's wrong with this order, you're not gonna be able to give it, whatever. So the nurse is calling. She's like, hey, I put an order in, you guys didn't verify why. And so I didn't even have to go look at the note, because when I look at the order, I'm like, oh, it doesn't have a frequency. In the frequency spot, it just has PRN. So I'm like, yeah, we didn't verify it because it needs a frequency. And so immediately she's like, what do you mean? It has a frequency. It's PRN. And so it's for insulin and it's sliding scale. And sliding scale just basically means that you're going to give a specific set of units based off of whatever the blood sugar is. Which means you have to test the blood sugar in order to be able to know what you're supposed to give the patient. And so I'm like, yeah, it's PRN, but what's the frequency? And she's like, it's PRN. And I just put in what the doctor said, and he said it to put it in for PRN. And I'm like, okay, well, and she's like, it's sliding scale. It's just replacing something else, and he has another insulin, so it's just sliding scale. And I don't understand what you don't understand about it. And I said, okay. And I'm like, I'm not, you know, how people say, like, oh, I'm going to return your energy. I'm not a returner of energy. Like, I'm too old. I'm too tired. Okay. So I'm like, all right, let's use this as a teachable moment. And let's start from step 1. I said, so it's a sliding scale insulin. So how often will you be testing the patient's blood sugar? Well, what do you mean? Well, if it's sliding scale, that means you have to get the blood sugar to be able to determine how many units you're going to give. So how often are you going to test the blood sugar? 3 times a day. That would be your frequency. So you would just need to put it in for 3 times a day, PRN. Oh, well, I'm going to have to figure out how to do that. And I'm going to have to talk to the doctor about that. And then she hangs up the phone. And so this order has been on hold for a while now. And it hasn't been fixed. And no one has called back on it. Understand something? I have no problem explaining something. Whether that's a patient or a healthcare professional. Like, I have no problem explaining. Because sometimes I don't know things, or I don't understand things, and I need somebody to explain it to me. And I don't want anybody to be upset or have an attitude, you know, if they have to explain something. And I also understand that people have bad days, myself included. And sometimes, like, I'm just not in a headspace to be able to communicate effectively. And I'm just, like I told my team recently, that just means that you can't have a bad day every day. You can't be able to communicate, not be able to communicate every day. But I understand every now and again you're just gonna have a bad day. It's a part of life. And in that case, like, I would much rather you either stay home if you have PTO to use. If you don't have it or can't afford it or whatever, then certainly hand off the call to or hand off the situation to a colleague who will be able to articulate, you know, the point. There must be something that I need to learn. I'm sure that there is. I'm just waiting for God to, like, bring it full circle and for me to learn it, because I feel like constantly I'm in situations where, yeah. So it's lunchtime. You have to know that your boobs are too big every time you buy a bra and you break the underwire. They too big, they too strong, they too wide, they don't fit, they too much. My bestie boo, hey Shay Shay, got me some beef and broccoli. It's really good. Tonight is night 4:07. We're getting there. 10:48 a.m. All right, we ready? It's night 5:07. We're getting there. Today was a sad day for me, actually. I found out that one of my coworkers is going to overnights. And she's gonna be opposite of me, and I really, like, enjoy working with her at night. Like, I look forward to working with her at night, and I'm not gonna see her anymore. I'm not gonna really work with her because we're gonna be opposite, and I'm kind of sad. Again, of course, we have baseball. I don't really post a ton of baseball footage that my son playing baseball. I don't know why. Somewhere along the way, I feel like actually I'm confusing my own self with what my channel is about, because this is very much a hobby for me, a hobby that I actually enjoy doing. I will say, like, yesterday and today, I was so exhausted, like, mentally, physically, emotionally exhausted. I felt sick. I felt like today I was laying down and my chest felt really heavy. I felt like I couldn't breathe, and that was concerning to me because as a PE survivor, anytime like you feel like you're having trouble breathing, you're always like, what if this is a PE? And eventually I ended up dialing myself down, and I think it was anxiety. I think I've been suffering from anxiety. I think that I'm under a lot of pressure. I think that I don't get a ton of sleep. I think that the sleep that I do get is not quality sleep. And I think that all of these things together, I'm experiencing anxiety behind these things. So I just decided, as much as I was committed and, I wanted to be committed to making 31 videos, like what was more important was my health. And it didn't mean that that my commitment wasn't there. My commitment is there. I'm still going to continue making videos. I also felt uninspired. I'm still going to do the things, but more important than all of that is making sure that I'm okay. And that's something that I'm practicing. I'm putting in practice in real time in my life. Is like, okay, you want to fix everything. You want everything to work out perfect. You want to make sure everyone is happy and everything is working smoothly, but you also have to make sure you're okay. And that was me saying, like, no, I'm not okay for whatever reason. I'm going to take this time out for me. And tomorrow, I'm very much going to take time out and spend with my husband because he's my happy place. And doing things with him makes me happy. And, there are also things that I feel like as I've gotten older, I've kind of just struggled with, and I have made myself like really secluded, and I don't want to do that anymore. And so I'm making sure I push myself outside of my comfort zone, and I'll get back to this hobby that I actually really do enjoy. I'll get back to it. It's not going anywhere. I'm not stopping. I bought this camera. I love this camera. I'm going to continue to use this camera. But I do want to like find my lane. I want to find something that I enjoy creating and my audience enjoys watching, and I want to pour into it and learn more about it and get better and all of the things. So yeah, this is night 5. 2 more nights to go. Weekend nights are typically good because I get to sleep the majority of the weekend. Tomorrow night will be rough just because I'm doing some hanging out with my husband. I don't think I have anything to do Sunday, so I don't know. But I tend to get good rest on the weekend, so I'm excited about that. Night 6 of 7. So tired, so ready to be off. It's like 3 a.m. Shout out to my patient who I gave a flu shot to, and he must have had a really good experience, okay? Because he was like, you like Pharmacist, because I work at this really popular spot in the city. He's like, I'm gonna bring you some Pharmacist. And so he pulls up to the window Friday, and I'm doing what I do. He's like, is Charity here? And everybody freezes, like nobody knows what to say. And then I'm finally like, and it was him, and he brought me pizza, and it is delicious. And I've eaten at this spot before, but this is good. This is real good, and I love pants it down. Okay, tomorrow it's all about sleep. Okay, I'm out. Night 7 of 7. I feel so groggy, so tired. I don't even know why, because I slept all day yesterday. I think I woke up a few times to eat, use the bathroom. I don't know. I feel like I'm getting old. Yeah, so we've made it 7 nights. Thank you for riding these 7 nights with me. But I'm so glad it's over. So it's 4 a.m. I have about an hour and a half before the next person comes in. Another hour and a half before I get off. I have 30 minutes before I have to be at my other job. I never appreciated a 30-minute power nap so much. The way I'm gonna eat that 30-minute power nap up today. And then I'll work and I'll get to go home and be free. Until next time, bye.